Hey guys, this is Guy5 here reviewing the original Apple AirPods, and I say original because just in case Apple releases another iteration down the road, just to be clear that I'm reviewing the first edition of Apple AirPods. Now I did unbox this maybe about half a year ago, and I have the delay because I wanted to give you a half a year's worth of personal experience. So in this review video, I'll be going into depth of the design, the features, potential improvements, what's to look for in the next possible edition. So first, let's talk about design, because this is a very particularly looking earphone, and the looks may be a huge deciding factor, though I think it's a little bit less so now that many people have started to adopt these Apple AirPods. As a college student, I saw so many people wearing these around campus that it's pretty much become a norm. So Apple went with its usual white color as a trademark. Of course, there are some people who prefer, say, black as a more discreet color, and I totally understand that, but actually, after dropping it a few times myself, I found it much easier for it to locate since it is this bright white color. So past the looks, you probably definitely want to know how this would fit your ears, as Apple AirPods don't have any interchangeable tips, which means if they don't fit you the first time, they're never going to fit you. So if you ever tried Apple AirPods, the ones with the wire, if you fit those, then you will definitely fit these for sure. However, if you're one of those people who wear Apple AirPods and they fit you fine, but they just tend to fall out, it might just be the weight of the cable. So I would definitely try these Apple AirPods at an Apple store. You can try them on for free just to see if they'll actually stay in your ears without that weight of the cable. I also want to quickly point out that there are these silicone attachments that you can put over the ear tips that you can buy, say, off eBay or Amazon. However, do keep in mind that if you do have those on, they won't sit flush in the charging case. And speaking of the charging case, I really do love what Apple did with their charging case. I have already reviewed two other truly wireless earphones, and their charging methods pale in comparison in what Apple has for their charging case. So it has the capability of, in just 15 minutes, offer you 3 hours of battery life. And thanks to Apple's W1 chip, pairing is a breeze with Apple devices. All you have to do for first-time pairing is press the button here on the back. Your device should detect it, and then once it's paired, it'll pair across all of your Apple ID sync devices. And then once you open it up the next time, it'll already be paired. Then pairing with a non-Apple device or an Apple device running on an older operating system like my Mac, you just have to pair it normally through Bluetooth. Another thing I really love about this charging case is the magnets. The lid is able to click right into place, it's very seamless, and also the magnets inside the case allow you to easily line up the AirPods, and they always line up properly, just slipping them in for charging. However, once in the charging case, the case will continuously charge the AirPods even at 100%, which can lead to battery drainage of the case even when you don't use the AirPods for long periods of time, which is the only current flaw that I can find with this case, besides the fact that it is a total scratch magnet. Now let's move on to features. Let's first talk about battery life and how you can view how much juice you have left in these Apple AirPods. So firstly, battery life is really not a problem. It lasts for about maybe 4 or 5 hours on my listening volume, which is generally pretty low. And then when I'm done with them, I always stick them right back to the charging case and not lose them. And then they charge them right up real quickly. And then next time I have them, they're all good to go. Generally, if I use them for a couple hours a day, have to put them back in the charging case, they last me about maybe 5 days, which I think is pretty decent. Afterwards, you just charge up the charging case with the lightning cable. So I have no issues with the battery life. What I do kind of have a problem with is how the battery life is shown. So when the AirPods are actually in the case, the only way to know how much juice you have in it is this little tiny indicator inside the case. If the light is green, that means it's above 90% and it should only be trickle charging. And if it's orange, that means it's below 90% and that case is currently charging it. When the Apple AirPods are out of the case, you can view the percentage on the connected device that you have in the control panel, and it's pretty accurate to that regard. However, you cannot see each individual earpiece's battery life unless there's a huge discrepancy, which isn't really a big deal. You can also see the individual percentages when you just open the case and say you take out one AirPod. Then you can see each individual percentage, including the percentage power of the charging case. However, you're only able to have an accurate reading of the charging case's battery level when the AirPods are in the case. When they're outside the case, the only way to know how much charge is left in the charging case is by opening up the lid and again looking at the indicator. If it's orange, it's below 20%, and if it's green, it's above 20%. If this sounds really confusing to you, I totally understand. I definitely think Apple could have done a better job with this. Okay, so moving on with the battery, let's talk about the controls. So you are able to customize the controls within the settings in iOS. With iOS 11, you're able to have different controls on the right and left earpieces. So basically, you need to double tap to trigger a certain control, whether it be to pause playing music, to skip tracks, or to summon Siri. Currently, that's all the functionality that you can get to it. There's no volume control option at all. So this also means that Apple lost out on a perfect opportunity to use this as a wireless remote for the camera shutter. However, a nice feature it does have is that it will pause your music automatically if you take it out of your ear. But unfortunately, if you use this with a non-compatible Apple device, then you lose all that functionality, the double tap, and also the pause when you take it out of your ear. And since these are truly wireless, you can listen to them one at a time if you say want to save battery, or if you like to share it with a friend while watching a movie, you can also do so very easily without any wire entanglement problem as previously. Another amazing feature that the AirPods have is the fact that it can isolate your voice against any noisy environment that you're in. So that means you can easily make clear phone calls and Siri will not have any difficulty understanding what you're saying. Siri, change the volume to 30%. Then from Bluetooth, it is equipped with Bluetooth 4.0, which means it can pair up to 2 devices at the same time. And what's really outstanding about this is the range. Usually it's rated at 33 feet or so, but I've been able to get much farther even with barriers in between, so I would say range is definitely a big forte with these AirPods. Concerning sound quality, it's nothing to write home about. Some people might be upset that it's such an expensive pair of earphones and the sound quality isn't stellar, but really all the price goes into making this so compact and all the features that it includes. But the sound quality isn't horrible by any means. It's really similar to what you would get from the Apple Earpods, the wired version. It is slightly better. I think it's a little bit more clear. You can still hear all the low ends and the high ends just fine. It's just a little bit muddy in the middle, but other than that, it's still a fantastic pair of earphones. And one other feature that Apple actually doesn't advertise for is its water resistance. It's technically not IP certified or anything like that, but I have constantly been using this as my workout headphones, so these are definitely sweat resistant at least. And I've seen people on YouTube dunk it in pools and in tanks of water for long periods of time, though I wouldn't advise that. But at least that's a good sign that these are pretty rugged and they should definitely survive a accidental wash in the washer, for instance. So up to this point, I've told you everything that I have experienced about these AirPods, and there's definitely room for improvement. One area is definitely customization. In terms of controls, I would love to see some way that they can integrate volume controls in addition to the regular playback controls. And of course, the option of having multiple colors would definitely be a plus. And if they could just fix that battery indicator, maybe just put it on the outside, maybe something similar to what this earphone does. With a push of a button, you can see approximately how much battery you have left in the case. Another nice addition is if they could expand upon what they currently have for the Find My iPhone feature. Right now, you can locate the AirPods if you have them in the case. However, if they're outside the case, say you drop them somewhere, you drop in the earpiece or something like that, best that you can do is set off a sound so that it will give off a sound to where the earbuds are. But say it's in a concealed location, it'd be really cool if I could just say use my phone as if it were a metal detector to find them. And if they could do something about the design to make it a little bit more attractive, that'd be nice too. So after 6 months of using these Apple AirPods, would I recommend them? Definitely if you own an Apple device, and still yes if you don't own one. I've used them for everything. Working out, just daily commutes, just listening to music in general. These are amazing. Once you cut the cord, you really don't go back. You don't have to worry about that cable noise when you're running anymore. It's just really amazing to go wire-free, and Apple AirPods is really the best on the market right now for that. Now, I understand the $159 price tag might scare some of you off, but do keep in mind it does pack a lot of features, and even more so than its competitors, which actually cost even more, up to $250. If you are really looking for a budget option for the truly wireless experience, I have reviewed another pair of earphones, which I can definitely recommend. The link will be right here at the end of this video, so you can check out my review for that. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please give it a like, it'd be greatly appreciated, and make sure to subscribe to my channel Skyforce95 if you haven't already to get more content like this. Or if you're watching this on Amazon, head over to my channel URL right here, or just search it up on YouTube Skyforce95. There you'll see a bunch of my product reviews and unboxings. Feel free to browse, or if you want to search for something specific, just hit that search field. That'll do it for this video. This is Skyforce95. Thanks for watching.